Hey, everybody, welcome back to the RGR Football Channel here on YouTube. My name is Daniel Harms. Today, we are going to go back into another rant video. Now, I want to start by saying I'm really sorry about Monday. I missed the live stream. I'm upset that I had to miss that. My allergies were, let's just say, you guys ever seen a caricature of someone, getting a bee sting? That's what my face looked like. Like my eyes were just like ridiculously puffed up, like half swollen shut. It was unbelievably insane for nearly a 24-hour period. It was some of the worst experience I've ever had, but I'm going to get to that. That's actually going to be the first part of this video today. But as you can see, things look a little bit differently in terms of that's not usually there. I'm a little more elevated than I normally am. We finally got our stuff yesterday. Like I got my office desk. I have to put it together. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit longer than I anticipated. But this is our new coffee table up front. It actually extends up and out, so I can actually use a little platform here and actually make it a little bit more accommodating for myself. So this should be the last week that you see me in this like kind of an unprofessional area. So I'm very excited to get that going. My wife is going to help me set up like the office once it's all done, and it's going to look really good. And I'm excited to show you guys, and I'm excited to actually finally have something tangible from all of this waiting. So I appreciate you guys working with me. It's going to be nice to finally have my computer, my desk, everything set up. So onto an actual professional area to record these videos in. Now, I'm gonna start, like I said, with allergies. I am a 29-year-old man, and I grew up in the Midwest in Michigan. Spent 18 years of my life. Never had an allergy problem at all. I'm not allergic to any foods, anything like that. I've never had allergies in my life. I joined the Air Force. I moved to California for 7 years. Again, not one issue in terms of allergy reactions to the pollen, anything there. And then we moved back to the Midwest in Nebraska. And about 2.5, 3 years ago now, when we moved there, I start getting this weird eye itching and nose stuffed up just between like the month of May into like mid-June area. And the first time it happens, I'm just like, whatever. I'm not that worried about it. But now it has become a yearly problem that I deal with. And like I said, from Sunday to Monday was the absolute worst thing I have ever experienced. And I cannot imagine having to continuously like why is this a problem? Why am I having to deal with this now that I'm 20, in my mid 20s going to 30? Like is there it's got to be some type of exposure problem. Like I said, I left the Midwest for however many 7 years, and I came back, and it was like, hey, guess what, we're going to go ahead and throw some pollen that you've already been exposed to, and we're going to make it so you're allergic to it. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Even I've been sick, 24-hour flu, food poisoning. I would have much rather have had those than get stuck with what I had from Sunday to Monday. It was awful. I looked terrible. Like I said, I looked like I had been stung by a bee, and I was having an allergic reaction to it. I hated every single minute of it. I didn't sleep at all that night. So it was so bad. I literally would not wish that on somebody. It was so awful. So people that have allergies out there, I have a new profound and huge respect for all of you that have to deal with that on a possible food basis or even daily basis, depending on what it is. So I have so much more respect for you now, and I can't believe that my medicine just would not work. Like I have actual prescription for it too. It just said, no, we're not going to kick in because you deserve this apparently. So there's that. Now we're going to get into some more of the meat of this rant, and this comes back to the draft process, where I have been telling you guys that as long as the Chiefs refuse to really put in a lot of draft capital at the tight end two position, excuse me, that they don't necessarily care that much about it. And then they went ahead and moved up to draft Noah Gray. And a lot of people seem to think that that means that tight end two is 100% set in stone, like they finally invested in it. Now, investing in a position, in my opinion, is a day one or a day two pick. That's what an investment is. Or you go and you sign somebody in free agency that is going to solidify that position for you. Excuse me. Neither Blake Bell or Noah Gray do those things for the Chiefs. Now, when we look at the body of work of Noah Gray, he's definitely got more of the body type and play style of a Travis Kelsey, but he's a rookie out of Duke who Duke doesn't produce a lot of talent. Let's just be honest about that. That's not what they do at the collegiate football level. They're much a basketball school. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying good players can't come out. Noah Gray can definitely develop. He has probably some of the best hands in the entire receiver class, like period. So I don't want to, say anything bad about that. But he's not the future of the tight end position, in my opinion, as of now. Like unless something happens and he's just all of a sudden this crazy good tight end, then okay, yeah, that happens. But again, Noah Gray wasn't on anyone's radar for the 4th round or the 5th round. He was looking to be like an end of the draft type of player, and it was a little shocking to everybody that the Chiefs went up and got him. So excuse me, sorry, like I said, I'm still dealing with this, so it's been a problem. So I don't believe that draft capital of a 4th round player at the tight end 2 position is a difference maker in the process of the Chiefs getting their player for, if Travis Kelsey were to go out. I still believe that Blake Bell would be going in, as the starter if Kelsey got hurt. Gray would play more, obviously, because he brings that receiving ability, but he wouldn't step in as the tight end 2 this season. I'm hopeful he can develop into like an actual threat where you can let him block a little bit, where you can trust him to run the right route and be in the right spot. Right now, he's definitely more of a 3rd down, like catch when you need it kind of receiver. Like let him be out there, turn around, look for the football. He's going to catch it. That's what he does very well. And he can locate downfield. That's all not an issue. But having the draft capital of a day 2 tight end is someone who has the talent, I think, to really be a tight end 2 and possibly the tight end for the future of this Chiefs organization. Now, obviously, Travis Kelsey was a 3rd round pick, if I'm not mistaken, but he had some things that pushed him down the board. Otherwise, I think he would have gone probably in the early 2nd round, maybe, no, I won't say late 1st, because I don't think that was going to happen. But again, I'll say early 2nd round probably would have been more his trajectory. So I don't really believe that all of a sudden the Chiefs really care about tight end 2. Now, like I said, he does do some things that will allow him to probably play in special packages early on. And when you can use receivers and tight ends as receivers, like Travis Kelsey and Noah Gray, they become valuable. So whether he stays the way he is the rest of his career or whether he develops into something more, an actual tight end 2, without the projection of being the next guy to take over and if Travis Kelsey all of a sudden up and retires, I think that's still going to be an issue for them going forward, and we got to wait and see what happens there. So I think that this little idea that the Chiefs all of a sudden address the tight end 2 position is really kind of just a fan idea that this guy has some of the receiving talent abilities to become something, and they're kind of wishing it into existence. Now, Ryan's actually going to do the film review for him in the next coming weeks. I'm currently working on Trey Smith, and again, I would have had it for this week, but so many things got in the way. I don't really want to get into it. And again, the allergies have really made it so I couldn't actually even look at a computer screen. So I'm going to have that for you guys next week. Promise you that much. I will get it done very early as I can. So now we're going to move on to something that has been brought to my attention by a couple of you already. And I think that the Chiefs' interest in Julio Jones is minimal. And that's not because he wouldn't greatly impact the receiving core of this team, but it's because his cap hit this season is $23 million. Okay. And I know that that's going to be kind of pushed based off of the Falcons getting rid of him after June 1st. That's going to change me. I think it makes around $15 million. But the Chiefs currently only have about $8 million in cap space. And I know that they can create some with Tyrann Mathieu's extension. But again, they still have not begun contract negotiations to this point. I do believe that will happen. That's definitely, I believe, something that they prioritize at the highest level in terms of keeping him on the team. So I don't think that's going to be an issue going forward. But it's been brought to my attention that there's some interesting dynamic that the Chiefs would be willing to offer a second round pick and Mecole Hardman in exchange for Julio Jones. Now, let me just say one thing for you guys. Mecole Hardman, as much as we all think that there's potential there still, I believe there's potential there for him. He has zero trade value. And that's because there hasn't been enough development. Yes, he's a fast guy, but guys like Mecole Hardman and to a certain extent a John Ross type of player, they hold no trade value because they have not done what they were expected to do in the league. And with reports saying that the Falcons have at least one offer of a first round pick, we don't know if that's a 2022 pick or a 2023 first round pick. That's what I would lean towards. There is absolutely zero chance that the Falcons would take a second round pick that's essentially a third round pick from the Chiefs and Mecole Hardman for Julio Jones, the best receiver in the NFL over the last 5, 6, 7 years. The best receiver over that time. Just think about it. Just think. Mecole Hardman, who at this point is essentially a slot receiver at right now. He has not shown he can really be, a presence on the outside. And a second round pick, like pick 62, 61-ish, for Julio freaking Jones. No, this is absolutely absurd. And to think that it's been reported by somebody, I don't know who it was. I just happened to see someone brought it to my attention. But I can't understand what makes you just kind of throw this out there about Mecole Hardman and a second round pick like for Julio Jones. That's not even a quarter of what Julio Jones is worth, even at his age and some of the durability issues that he's kind of dealt with over the last few years. He doesn't miss a whole lot of games, but again, durability when you're playing with injuries, it affects your effectiveness. It impacts that. So I think that we've kind of seen that more than we've seen him miss games, which is, what he is. But he's still a physical freak. The dude's huge. He can do everything you want him to do. And you're not going to be able to replicate that with Mecole Hardman and a second round pick. It's not feasible. It's not possible. It's not within the realm of negotiations. Like it doesn't make sense. The Chiefs would have to give up a first round pick. One, because their first round picks are all at the end of the first round. So they're essentially second round picks. So if you really want it to be that, I would think maybe a first round pick this coming year with Mecole Hardman and then something else. You might be able to work out a Julio Jones trade. Also, the fact that the Chiefs have a second round draft pick invested in Mecole Hardman and they expect big things from him. Why would they just all of a sudden up and trade him? Just because, yes, it's Julio Jones. I would trade Mecole Hardman for Julio Jones. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't. But again, I believe that the Chiefs really like to take their talented players that they have and spread them out and try to get what they can out of them. They don't really have a history of trading draft picks still in their first contract for players. They don't really have that big of a thing. So again, this is preposterous. It's ridiculous to even suggest that a late second and a Mecole Hardman would be enough to get Julio Jones. Anyway, they would need much more to do in terms of draft capital, players, that kind of thing, to be able to even consider getting Julio Jones. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then the last thing for today that we're going to cover, I've still seen way too many myths about what happened in the Super Bowl. Like the people just kind of seem to forget that the Chiefs were literally dealing with not only essentially a backup offensive line. It was backup, like 4 backups and Austin Ryder, who's essentially a backup. So you got 5 backup offensive linemen, 5. And all of a sudden, yes, they go in that, they change all that, but that's supposed to be the same as it was last year in one game in the Super Bowl. Excuse me. I can't wrap my head around what goes through people's heads what happened in the offseason, like what the Chiefs did. What they signed Joe Thuney, they brought in Orlando Brown, they drafted their center and Creed Humphrey. They already drafted their right tackle of the future, Lucas Niang, last year, and then they brought in, bringing back LDT, and then signed Kyle Long, who's probably going to be the starting right guard in my opinion. And all of a sudden, like, I'm still seeing this nonsense about how the Chiefs' offensive line is still the issue going forward. Now, maybe for the first month of the season, they have some things to work out, some issues, so some kinks, some chemistry problems. Mahomes dealing with a left-handed center. Like, some of these might have some impact on how things play. But make no mistake, this offensive line is going to be the best that Patrick Mahomes has played behind. It's going to be the best offensive line that Clyde Edwards-Helaire has played behind in the NFL. It's going to be the best offensive line that the Chiefs have had in Mahomes' tenure. That means there are going to be a whole lot of things out there that they can do that they haven't been able to do before. Kareem Hunt was different. That offensive line was still not as good as we're seeing right now. They could do some things differently. And also Kareem Hunt did some things differently that made the offensive line look better than it was. Patrick Mahomes still made the offensive line look better than they were. I can't tell you how many times Austin Ryder was made better than he was by Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason he's still out on the market, guys. He has not been signed by anybody. I've been trying to tell you, but no one listens. All because PFF has a little thing that they like to believe is accurate in terms of not giving up any pressures. But guess what? He does. And Mahomes is forced out of pockets because of him. And look at him now. He's a free agent. And I don't mean to be mean about it, because that's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get at the fact that they needed talent injection at the position. And people wanted to throw that stat in my face. But look at now. Creed Humphrey is their starting center. They brought in Austin Blythe. They have Allegretti, who could probably play center if they wanted to. This offensive line's different. Andy Reid has seen the light in terms of getting some push up front. Creed is going to have some issues with that. But again, they're still going to employ a heavy zone scheme, which is what he does well. He understands angles. He understands hand technique and how to get guys to go where he wants them to go. This is going to be the best offense that we've seen with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, even better than the 50 touchdown season he had. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's crazy talk, right? Yeah, if you look back at the beginning, the first quarter of the season, that's where Mahomes' touchdown numbers really came from. Okay. Over the rest of the season, they leveled off. They played better teams, better defenses. It got a little bit less lopsided. They're going to be able to run the football, and they're going to be able to throw to wide open players down the field because of the run game, because of the offensive line. Mahomes is going to have 3 to 4 to 5 seconds sitting in the pocket to look through his reads and all of his receivers and not have to find one guy while he's on the run, which is 10 times harder than it is to do while you're in the pocket, because you can go left, right, back to left easier. It's going to be the best offense that we've seen with Patrick Mahomes at the helm. Just remember that, because this myth that the Super Bowl offensive line has somehow crept back into the Chiefs for the 2021 season, that's what it is. It's a myth. And don't forget that offensive line is going to be an incredible asset this year and going forward, especially because Andy Reid now knows what they need on the offensive line for Patrick Mahomes. He needs a little bit more time to not get hit so much. He's already had multiple injuries, and protecting Mahomes is the key to continuously going to the Super Bowl, AFC Championship game. That's what it is. So with that, I just want you guys to remember that this is the offense is going to be great this year. And it might not be the same in terms of numbers, but it's probably going to be the most efficient offense that they've seen under Patrick Mahomes. The NFL is not ready for it. And I know that a lot of people have even talked about, I had a conversation actually not too long ago about how having Julio Jones and make the Titans the Chiefs' biggest competition. I can't begin to tell you guys how wrong that statement is. I can't begin to tell you that. Not only is their defense awful, Ryan Tannehill's an average quarterback in the NFL. Mahomes would put 50 up on that defense. Tannehill might get to 25 to 30. That's not going to do it, even with Julio Jones, guys. Like that's the Titans still have a long way to go. Long way to go. So with that, we will leave you guys. And again, just think about that comment about how Julio Jones would make the Titans the Chiefs' biggest competition. I want you to think about that. And tell me what you think about it in the comments below. You guys, you have a great day. I really enjoy doing these. It's so much fun to actually interact at a different level. And I really do. I really enjoy it. Again, I'm hoping that the next time you guys see a longer video, I'm going to have a short one this week as well. A longer video, a film breakdown is going to be behind my desk. I'm so excited. All right, everybody have a great day. Go Chiefs.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.